Julia Cameron is the creator and visionary behind the Julia Cameron luxury lifestyle and accessories brand. Julia loves all things health, fashion, spirituality, travel, art, empowerment, and inspiration. She exercises her passions through her jewelry and accessory lines, lifestyle tips, interviews with movers and shakers, and the health and fitness retreats she runs with her partner all around the globe. She is an entrepreneur at heart, writer, designer, presenter, and voiceover artist with a passion for creativity and helping others overcome fear and self-doubt so that they can live the dream life of freedom they deserve and in the process become the best version of themselves and feel like the goddesses that they truly are. Julia grew up in Colorado, USA before moving to the UK where she continued to travel extensively. Summers spent in India where much of her style and ethos and love of colorful and statement jewelry came from, particularly sparked her creative ideas. Having studied philosophy at Leeds University, Julia moved to Ibiza where she gathered further inspiration and some of her designs garnered attention. Julia's love and knowledge of vintage is also reflected in her jewelry collection, having spent time at auctions and flea markets in Paris sourcing collectible pieces. Julia has a rich artistic ancestral heritage, which includes Virginia Woolf and her great-great-grandmother, Julia Margaret Cameron, who was a pioneering figure in the history of photography as part of a strong female movement in the creative arts. Join us as Julia takes us into her world of jewelry on the Just Give Show. Hi and welcome to the Just Deep Show. Today on the show I'll be talking to a young entrepreneur who designs jewelry. Very lovely. I've seen some of the pieces and they're so nice. We're going to be asking her a lot of questions. We're going to be talking to her about what gives her the drive to do what she does. This is the Just Deep Show. We'll take a quick break and when we come back we'll be getting to meet our guest. You're welcome back to the Just Deep Show. If you're just joining us, our guest today on the show is a young entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Julia
Hi.
Cameron. It's good to have you on the
you.
show. And now, on this show, what we always do, we go right back to the beginning. What were your growing up years? What were they like?
Well, I grew up, my dad was actually in the army, so I moved around quite a lot. So I grew up in America, and then I moved to England when I was about 10 years old. And I was very lucky. I had a lot of friends, because I was with lots of other traveling families, I had friends from all over the world. So I spent a lot of time in like Asia and in India and places like that where I got a lot of creative inspiration for then my collections later on in life.
So, do you have any siblings?
I have, yep. I'm the middle child. I have a brother and
okay.
a sister. I have an older brother and a younger sister. And all the girls in my family are very creative and arty, but the boys are not at all.
So what do the boys do?
My brother works in banking, and my cousins also work in like corporate world. My sister's actually a fashion photographer.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and I sort of started. I started doing like styling and that kind of aspect of fashion, and then it grew into starting my own label and then creating all these jewelry designs. But yeah, I traveled a lot when I was growing up, so I've kind of picked inspirations from all different parts of the world, but mainly Asia, to be honest with you.
Did you go to school to study any of this?
No.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So I went to school and then I actually went to Leeds University and I studied philosophy. And
Can you imagine? It's funny how you study one thing and then do something totally different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I kind of went to uni because I felt like it was what I should do, and I wasn't that focused, unfortunately, at the time. And after uni even, I was a little bit lost and not sure what I wanted to do, but all I knew was that I always wanted to have my own business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to work for myself and not answer to anyone else. That much I knew, and I knew that I would like to do something creative because I'd always kind of been interested in like fashion and jewelry and that kind of thing. But it wasn't until like after uni that I really kind of got my first idea to start my business and to create a line of jewelry.
So at what point did you know that, well, you said you did the styling thing. At what point did you know that it's jewelry?
Well, I used to go to like auctions and that kind of thing. As from a young age, I'd love to like find like really interesting old pieces of vintage jewelry, and I built up quite a collection. And I used to sort of find like little offcuts of jewelry and like just start kind of putting bits together myself. And quite often I'd find really cool necklaces, and I'd just like style them as headpieces instead, and kind of wear them out and that kind of thing. And I suppose because a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's really cool. I really like it," I started thinking, "Oh, maybe I could, create some more of these things." So I started just using old pieces of vintage jewelry, and then I kind of had this vision of like these goddesses wearing these headdresses made of this like thin gold chain, and yeah, that was actually after uni. I was kind of not sure what I wanted to do, and I was temping and doing lots of different kind of jobs, and I just was like, I've got all these ideas, but I just need like one to really focus on. And I just had this really strong vision of these goddesses wearing these kind of gold chains and looking really feminine and powerful, and that was that. And I just thought, I'm going to go for it. Nothing's stopping me.
That's beautiful. So where do you get your inspiration? Because you designed them.
Yes,
yourself.
I designed them all. So I've always loved like ancient mysticism and goddesses, and I love all the old like ancient Greek stories about goddesses and all that kind of thing, and I love all the drapery of like Grecian togas. So my original ideas really were from Greek goddesses, and also from my time spent in India, like as Asian weddings and things. They wear a lot of headpieces, and I loved like wearing kind of bindis and all that kind of thing. So I kind of fused the two. And I sort of created about 9 styles of the main headpiece using this gold chain to sort of make sure there was a style to fit kind of everyone, different hairstyles and different moods and different events and that kind of thing.
Okay, so what? How from when you have an idea?
Yeah.
How do you sketch?
So originally I kind of did a mixture. I found someone to help me first make my first samples in London. And when I saw him, I kind of used various things, because I'm not like an artist. I didn't sort of study just art. I've always drawn and things, but I wouldn't say like I'm an amazing drawer. So you don't have to do it that way. But I just used a lot of other pieces of jewelry, and I'd kind of put things together and show him how I liked it, and use a bit of sketching here, but just really tactile, just putting different things together and kind of doing it like that, and then making a sample, going back, tweaking it, making another sample. So really that way, not just like one straight sketch. That's what I want. It was very much quite an evolving process as I went along. Yeah.
So how long does it take for you from start to finish?
Gosh. For one, sometimes I get an idea like that, and I'm just like, I know exactly what I want, and then it's really just the manufacturing time. Like, for example, this sword here, I was just trying to get some inspiration, and I was in London, and I went to a place called the Wallace Gallery, which has lots of sort of ancient relics and artifacts and things, and I saw this collection of Indian swords, and I just thought they're amazing. They would look so cool in miniature as a necklace. So I just saw it there, and I was like, right, that's what I want. And I just took photographs of it, started sketching and thinking about how it would work in a necklace. And then when I went to India, I just sat with the manufacturers there, and that was that.
So your manufacturers are in India?
Yeah,
all of them.
Well, I sometimes get one sample made here, and then I'll go to India to sort of elaborate on it, because they have beautiful gemstones there in Jaipur. So, for example, this one I just had in plain silver. When I went to India, I adorned it with gemstones. So now I've added like an emerald, a ruby, and a sapphire. So it all sort of evolved as I go along my journey, And
I can see you're extremely passionate from the way you're talking about it. So it's like you would do this for as long as you can.
Yeah, I want to create. I won't say I'll ever do anything other than jewelry, because I might like have an idea. I have lots of ideas. I might have an idea for
I get the feeling.
it could be a dress or something. I'm just kind of creative person, but certainly I think jewelry, because jewelry stands the test of time if it's made well. And I try and make pieces that are quite classic. You know, it's not like my headpieces are very unusual, so it's not like they're just going to come in one season and go out. They're always going to be unusual. So I try and create things that aren't like trend driven, if you see what I mean. But yeah, certainly I will always do jewelry, and I've now kind of created more of a lifestyle brand where I incorporate, you know, blogs and tips really about, you know, how you can feel more like a goddess, not using jewelry, but also, you know, just using sort of self-development tips and things like that.
Okay, where would you see yourself in 5 years' time?
5 years' time, I would like to, well, I'd like to have more presence with my jewellery. So I've created a couple of more commercial products, like my gratitude bracelets, and I'd like to see that in like a department store. So I'm talking to a few at the moment, so fingers crossed. But they're actually a charity piece, so 10% of each sale goes to charity. So the more awareness I can have for that, the better. So yeah, it would probably be to be stocked in bigger shops and worldwide, really. But I am very much focused on online at the moment.
That's great. We're going to take a short break now. We're going to have a look at some of her pieces, and when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation.
Start with any resources. I didn't have any sort of money saved or investment, or I just had like a lot of energy, and I just knew that I had to do it. And I think one of the main things I would try, so I would, to anyone starting out, I would really recommend like trying to get a mentor. There are lots of this, like from Learn Now, there's a lot of free help out there, but at the beginning I kind of overlooked it.
You're welcome back. We're just rounding up the show right now. Our guest today has been Julia Cameron. She makes these wonderful pieces of jewelry, not the one I'm wearing at the moment. I should have actually I should have actually worn one, but you did see some of her beautiful pieces in the break. Now, you are an entrepreneur. Now, in the present UK, a lot of young people are lost. Let me use that word. They don't know, just like you said, they don't know what they want to do. They don't know how to go about what they do. What advice would you have for them?
Well, when I started, you really have to focus on your resourcefulness and not your resources, because I didn't start with any resources. I didn't have any sort of money saved or investment, or I just had like a lot of energy, and I just knew that I had to do it. And I think one of the main things I would try and do is collaborate with lots of other young creatives, because everyone needs to build up their portfolios, everyone needs to gain experience. So, I mean, to be honest, my whole first year of business was really based on creating photo shoots with other young entrepreneurs and designers. So we were all helping each other, you know, so we weren't having to spend lots of money on big expensive shoots or anything. So I'd say collaboration is really, really key. And just thinking outside of the box. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay. I know that you've told them what they think they should do. Now, some, especially the Black community, they kind of are stereotyped into doing one main thing. They have huge ambitions, but they do not know how to go about it. You know, a lot of them think that they are limited by their color, right? What would you say to such?
Well, I believe totally in getting rid of limiting beliefs in any. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone has limiting beliefs in what they can and what they can't do. But as long as you've got a vision and the energy and the confidence to put yourself out there, you will attract, by virtue of like what you reflect out, you will attract back. I don't know really. I don't know.
What else you can say to them? Well, I guess like you're saying, it's all a matter of self-belief.
Yeah, it's all self-value, self-worth, self-belief. You know, don't compare yourself to other people too much, because we're all on our own journey. You know, there's no point being envious of anyone else, because that's just a negative energy. I think you should always just focus on what you do have and count the achievements that you've got, because when you fill your cup up, you will inherently attract opportunities to you. So just, if you limit yourself, you will create limitations. I just believe it's all in the mind.
And you had your parents support you, because some parents just think that you've gone to school to do this, why should you do something else?
I mean, of course, my parents are kind of like, you know,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not going to say they supported me 100%, because obviously they worry if you're self-employed, you don't have a stable income, and, you know, they're always worried about me. But I always I was starting my business. I had like 3 or 4 part-time jobs at the time. So I was really like, the first 2 years, I was like every weekend I was doing a photo shoot or this or that. And then in the week I had like a day job, an evening job. Sometimes I'd do event jobs on the weekend, because you have to do whatever it takes in the beginning to build that foundation. I think that's one thing, determination and discipline.
Did you attend any exhibitions? Or,
I did trade shows when I first started. Obviously I attended exhibitions to see what other jewelry designers were doing, and you just do a lot of research and asking people like what's worked for them. But at the end of the day, like, you have to go through it all yourself. Like I've done a lot of trade shows, and you know, they probably weren't always worth it because they are expensive and you spend money, but you just have to try for yourself to see what works, really. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the best way to go. I think social media is a big thing now, and if you can kind of get I haven't even got my head around it, but if you can, then obviously that's a good start, if you can get that right, because you've got so much more avenues of awareness. But just getting out there, you know, networking, you know, I try and be out and meeting other people as much as I can, and going on things like Meetup. There's like jewelry talks.
Yeah, Meetup, yeah.
I go to some jewelry talks, and you get people telling you about branding and business advice, because that's one thing that I've really struggled with, because I'm creative. I haven't really known.
You know, that's the thing about creative people. They always forget the business side of things. They get carried away by the art.
I've definitely done that. Yeah. So I would, to anyone starting out, I would really recommend like trying to get a mentor. There are lots of this, like from Learn Now, there's a lot of free help out there. But at the beginning, I kind of overlooked it because I was so focused on just doing the fun, creative bit. But actually, you've got to turn it into a business. And so, as much as you can, I would suggest like, you know, getting advice from people who are in business or have already done what you want to do. Yeah.
That's fine. Would you say at this point, in since you've started, that you are comfortable, or you know, you're not still struggling?
Oh, I never say I'm comfortable. I think if you're comfortable, you're not growing as much. I mean, I'm always striving for more, but I'm sort of happy where I am, like I accept where I am. But there's always more. There's always more to do and to achieve, and it takes time. Like, you know, I kind of thought, you know, I'm a very new company, really. I've only been doing 2.5 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know, you the way you're talking and the way what I've seen, it's like you've been doing this forever.
Oh no, I started when I was 26, no, 28.
Wow.
So
that is amazing. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I don't know.
No, yeah, you know, because I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and the advice you've given, where you've been, you know, it's like you've been doing it, you know, for ages.
Oh, really?
That is an inspiration, if you ask me. I'm highly inspired by that.
No, I feel very much like I'm just totally starting out, really. I still need I've learned a lot so far, but I know there's a huge amount on my journey to go towards. But yeah, I'm still kind of learning, yeah.
Thank you. Unfortunately, time is never our friend when we're having fun, so we have to go now. But I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Because I really loved that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's our show for today. We've been talking to Julia Cameron, who makes wonderful pieces of jewelry. If you had been watching from the beginning, I'm sure you must have seen some of her pieces. Well, we can't go on anymore. We have to say goodbye at this point. Until we see again sometime very soon, you go have yourself a wonderful time. I remain Evelyn Obaho. Goodbye.